Okay, time for a 10-minute rant on Blink Twice. Blink Twice is a film that honestly disturbed me. And it disturbed me so much, it's one of the rare times in which I've just had to shut off a film and basically come back and watch it later. And the reason why was because, well, I was kind of watching it while doing something else, and I actually kind of wanted to give it my full attention. And this is one of those types of films that I believe everybody needs to see, because it brings up a serious problem in our society. And I think it's rather interesting that this film was directed by Zoe Kravitz, a very famous actress. And I might not be, I might have mispronounced that. But essentially, I can't help but compare this film with another film I've done a 10-minute rant about called The Woman of the Hour. And that film also dealt with the aspect of predatory male behavior. Blink Twice is one of those films that really puts it in a spotlight, and puts it in a spotlight that we don't want to see. And I can't help but feel that this is some weird, let's see, what was that man? Jeffrey Epstein, who had the island here that had a lot of sick things going on. I get the feeling like maybe that was inspired by that, because I get the feeling like the main villain in this film, played by Channing Tatum, who's doing a really good job. Obviously, this man has more than a pretty face. He can do good acting now. He's playing this rich man. I think his name is Slater King, and I kind of thought, like, wow, is that really his name? I mean, that feels like somebody who actually is a rich billionaire in real life. But yeah, he's got this super company, and at the beginning, it's actually shown that he has done something. I don't really think it's really stated what he has done, but apparently, he started this. He started his own island because he feels like, okay, I want to take time off from my business and just kind of focus on me being me right now and focus on the basics of life. So he lives on this island and stuff like that. The problem is, you can see exactly where this is going. He has this sense of autonomy on this island, and he's going to just use this island to do whatever the hell he wants. And the main character of this film is Frida, and she's this waitress who kind of works at events like this, and she's at an event with Slater King, and then manages to get his attention at the end of the thing, just sort of being in disguise, as in, like, she goes to this after party thing where he's there, but she's not dressed as a waitress. She's dressed in a very nice dress, gets her attention, and of course, he admires her, and of course invites her to come to the island. Now, immediately, everything that's in your system, of course, goes like, this will not end well. And here's the thing, it doesn't, but I'm going to get to the ending here at the last minute of this, like I normally do. The thing I admire about this film is that once that she goes to this island, then it looks like she's having a nice time. They're just sitting back, sunning, having drinks, and eating really good food. But something happens on this thing, and this film takes quite a while to do this, where you see her having certain days, but a lot of the days, they all look the same. Now, I've been on vacations where this sort of happens, where you do one thing and days sort of blur together, and that can be a good thing, because it's like, oh, this is really nice. But you sense there's something more sinister happening, going on. And there are several things that are happening in each of the days that start to come across more interesting. Like a character needs a lighter, or a character says the same thing that they just said the day before. And you're kind of wondering, like, why is this kind of happening? Well, and then it even gets even more creepy, because while the main character is kind of there, she talks to one of the housekeeping persons, and the housekeeping person just keeps saying something like, red rabbit, red rabbit, red rabbit, and just keeps, and it's of course like, okay, this is getting, we're obviously in horror movie territory here. This is a horror movie. And like the other horror movie that I talked about, what was that movie? Speak No Evil. This is one of those cases where the character is going to be trapped in this location, and it becomes very apparent that there is a breaking point very quickly where they start to realize that this is a bad place. And here's what is actually kind of happening in this thing. Channing Tatum and his men, he's got like several people there with him, and a lot of them are played by very recognizable actors like Haley Joel Osment, Christian Slater. So I was actually kind of surprised that they got them for this film, because it's like they weren't really on the poster or anything like that. And they play mostly side characters in this movie. Now, what is going on is essentially that these characters, I say characters because Frida isn't the only person who's on this island. There's several ladies that were brought on board here. What's happening is that they are being drugged. They are being given some sort of perfume, I actually believe it is. It's some dosage of some drug that is in their perfume that will make them forget. The problem is that it actually is a very potent serum. It actually kind of works. So what you're seeing in the thing, in the whole montage where they're going through all their days and they feel very much like each other, is it's kind of like you're seeing their point of view from their memories. However, there's a problem. You see, there's a certain snake that's native to this island, and it's a tropical island, that its venom will counteract this particular memory decreasing drug. And Frida's best friend, she gets bitten by one of these snakes, and as a result, she can't, the memory removal drug won't affect her anymore. So as a result, she is taken out of the loop. She's killed by these terrible predatory men. And the thing is, their main character, Frida, somehow remembers this character, but all of her other lady friends don't remember this character. And that's when it gets really, really good. That's when you suddenly realize, okay, this is really starting to get... And this is actually when I turned off this film, because I realized what was going on here. In the men in this film, these predators are essentially putting their victims in a roofie circle. And they're essentially making them forget these things, and they're really starting to feel like, well, we can do anything we want with these people because they won't remember it. And they think they have this ultimate ace, and they actually think they have an excuse to do these things. And that, I think, is the most heinous thing in this film, is the fact that we're seeing this here. Now, I'm not saying this film is bad for showing this. I actually think this film is very good for what it depicts on this, because I actually really like this film, because it is realistic on how this portrays this, and it is show this type of behavior, and they don't hold back on some things on this here. They don't show everything that is being done to them, but they show enough that's going like, okay, I can tell what's happening to them. And I think this is one of those films where you don't have to show... This isn't one of those films where you have to show the horrific scene. You can actually... It's worse because you're imagining how bad it is. And I'm sure these... the predatory men in this film did horrific things to these ladies here, and I just felt like, oh my gosh, this is a really horrific film, and I feel like this is a film that I think people need to see, because this is what predatory male behavior looks like. Anyway, now here's the thing. I'm going to get to the ending of this film, where essentially I thought this film was going to end with these main characters, these main lady characters, killing all their male predatory captors. A lot of horror movies do end with that sort of thing, and they have these characters, the final girl, so to speak, be victorious over that. That happens, and yet there's a twist to it. Because at the end of this film, it turns out that the main character has flipped it on these people. And couldn't help but think that is the most satisfying ending I could ever see for a film like this.